It's Friday the 13th, and we got a full slate of baseball. Let's talk some seam. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we're back to talk some MLB action. That's right, we got a full Friday slate. No more of that 7-8 game stuff on Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, it's a one-on-one day. You know, it is what it is. Probably the best day I've had in the last 4 days. We will turn this around. I know that, but I didn't want to force the third bet on ugly slate, so we'll recap that real quick in just a little bit. But quick reminder: NBA best bets for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. That video is out now on a nice 6-2 run in the finals, so be sure to check it out. But any graphics you see in this video, you know they are from OUTLIER, the best betting research tool on the market today. Use this every single day. Click that link below. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get into it. And we're not going to do an MLB fun fact. We're going to do a dad joke like we do in the basketball videos. So here we go. The internet connection at my farm is really sketchy. So I moved the modem to the barn. Now I have stable Wi-Fi. Yep. In this video, we are going to recap yesterday and then go over the good and bad hitter matchups. And even though we did it last week, some of you guys were asking for it. So we're going to head back out to the pen and talk top and bottom bullpens in the last 3 weeks. And then we're going to talk those good pitcher strikeout matchups, the entire pitcher report. And of course, we will finish it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. I am ready to get it rolling, sip on that coffee, and let the baseball journey begin. And that means it's recap time. All right, there it is, a 1-1 split on Thursday. Tigers minus 1.5. Scuba got the job done. They only gave up 1 run, and the Tigers scored 4 thanks to a 3-run bomb by Parker Meadows. Gotta love that. The under 5 runs, this was an absolute debacle. Through 1.5 innings, actually through 2 innings, there were 6 walks and a balk with 3 home runs given up. You can't make it up. Bailey Obear, yes, I said his name right this time. He's going to be an Uber driver soon, but my goodness, he was horrendous. He has elite command. He's been great at home. What does he do? Walk 3 guys in the first inning and a half, gives up 3 bombs. It was a debacle. After that 5-run second inning, it actually calmed down. Without that top of the second, it actually would have cashed crazily. But my goodness, that was an easy loss. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But anyways, there's the overall record. As we now try to dig out of this hole we just built ourselves in the last week, down 6.79 units with the breakdown of pitcher props, hitter props, game bets, and all that. So that's what we got for the recap. Now let's talk some hitter matchups. All right, we have a ton of good hitter matchups for you today. This is just page 1. Again, I'm not going to go over all of them. You'll see some Dodgers up here. Freddie Freeman, 14 for 37. Mookie Betts, 10 for 29. Max Muncy, 9 for 27. All hitting the ball very well off of Logan Webb, which is a little surprising, but those guys are studs, obviously. And then we got Castellanos and Trey Turner, 2 Phillies against Kevin Gausman with some good numbers. Christian Yelich, how about 8 for 15 against Eric Fedde? And then you go over there on the right side, his teammate William Contreras, 8 for 14 with a couple bombs off of Fedde, so pretty impressive there. And there's the rest of the guys. Sean Murphy, Shohei Ohtani, another Dodger, obviously, 4 for 11 off of Logan Webb. So take a screenshot. That is page 1. And then we move to page 2. Xander Bogaerts, 4 for 9 with a couple bombs off Ryan Nelson. And then we got Verdugo all the way down to Jackson Merrill, 3 for 7. And Kike Hernandez, 4 for 7, ending it with Terang. So that's what we got for all the good hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the bad hitter matchups. How about Michael Taylor, 1 for 24 with 13 Ks. In his defense, it's against DeGrom, so not too surprising there. But other than that, not a ton of strikeouts, which is kind of something I look at to say, you know, is this guy getting fooled big time? But Ian Happ, 2 for 11, it does have 6 Ks versus Paul Skeens. Michael Busch right below him, 1 for 10, 5 Ks off of Skeens as well. So again, hopefully these help you guys get some winners. But that's what we got for the hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the pen. All right, let's head out to those pitchers that throw about 3 innings a week and check out the bullpens. We got the top 7 ERAs and the bottom 7 ERAs here. This is in the last 3 weeks. And now, as you can tell, we have Sierra up there. Somewhat similar to XFIP and things like that. But Sierra, as you can see down there, skill interactive earn run average, eliminates factors the pitcher can't control himself and helps predict ERA moving forward. So just one of those prediction type stats. But the Cubs leading the way, 0.81 ERA with a 3.6 Sierra. And then Giants 176. They've been up there actually for the last few weeks now. And then Rangers 2-2, which is a surprise. Padres seems like they're bouncing from top 7 to bottom 7, but they are back in the top 7. Guardians 2-4-3. Rays and Mets finish it out. And then with the bottom 7 ERAs, Rockies, not a surprise. Actually, 24th is a surprise. I'm surprised they're not 29th or something. And then Twins, they do have a good bullpen. Just last 3 weeks it has not been going well. 4.70 ERA, but again, as you can see by that 3.28 Sierra, they're going to turn it around, and they got some arms to do it. Yankees 4.98 ERA, 3.41 Sierra though, been getting a little unlucky. D-backs 5 ERA, over 4 Sierra. And then the Mariners, my goodness, we can't hit or pitch, I guess. 5.86 ERA. We got the Reds at almost 6, and then the Oakland A's. Nope, sorry, just the A's. Oakland A's of the Sacramento Athletics. 6.78 ERA, 4.15 Sierra, the highest on the board. No surprise there. So again, hopefully this helps you out. But when you're looking at bullpens, obviously keep in mind most teams have 2 or 3 just elite arms, high leverage arms that you're looking for. You want to check the day before and maybe 2 days before to see who's available and all that, because it's just a bullpen as a whole. But you want to see who they have available for that next day. So that's what we got for the bullpens. Now let's talk some strikeouts. All right, we got one good pitcher strikeout matchup with Gavin Williams against my Seattle Mariners. Seattle's 6th highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, 23.8%. Williams, 71 Ks in 65.1 innings. He does have 6 or more Ks in 5 of his last 7. And the 2 unders, under the 6 Ks, they were 5 and 3 against Houston and the Dodgers. Obviously, tougher matchups. Lower K rate on the road, though, 23.9. But again, it's in Seattle, good pitcher's park. Compared to at home, 26%. He does have a higher K rate versus lefties, 27.8 compared to 23.1 versus righties. That's really the only decently high strikeout pitcher versus high strikeout team, but there is some other good strikeout pitchers. Let's mention them here down below. Logan Webb going up against the Dodgers. LA has the 18th highest K rate versus righties, so it's an average matchup for him really. And then Yamamoto on the other side against the Giants. Giants 13th highest K rate versus righties. Last 3 weeks, 22.1%. That one almost made it. We know how good Yamamoto is. And then Garrett Crochet versus the Yankees. Yankees, again, another average. They're all right there in the middle. 16th highest K rate versus lefties last 3 weeks at 22.9. We know Crochet can dominate any team any given day. But that's what we got for all the strikeout matchups. And now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here are the first 8 matchups of the day, and we start with Paul Skeens against Cade Horton. Obvious mismatch for the Cubbies there. Skeens just been unbelievable. He's given up 2 or less earned runs in 7 straight starts. Guess how many wins he's recorded in that stretch? 1, because the Pirates are no bueno. Horton of the Cubs, 4.11 ERA. This will be just his 3rd home start. Other 2 were against the Rockies and White Sox, but he's been decent so far. Kevin Gausman versus Ranger Suarez. Gausman giving up 3+ earned runs in 4 of his last 6, but the other 2, he absolutely dominated. He seems to be hit or miss. And then Ranger Suarez having a great season so far. His expected ERA is even lower than his 2.7 ERA, giving up just 3 earned runs in his last 25.2 innings. And then Edward Scissorhands Cabrera. He had a command issue last year big time, but it seems to be a little bit decent. And actually, he's only allowed 1 earned run in his last 15.1 innings, which is over his last 3 starts. Mitchell Parker has struggled. He finally gave up less than 3 earned runs his last start. That is the first time since April 22nd. So I wouldn't just say he's back or anything yet. And then we got Cocaine against Charlie Morton. Cocaine is not very good, not to say the least. 11% walk rate, 15.9 K rate, not missing bats, not hitting the strike zone very often, and then just giving up a ton of hits. It's fallen apart. He had an okay start to the season, but really fallen apart. And then Charlie Morton, a guy that they're really limiting a little bit more. You're going to see him maybe for like 4 innings, maybe 5 innings, as opposed to letting him go deep, and he was just getting shelled. So he's been a little bit decent, or better, more decent, if that makes sense, in the last few weeks. But Nick Martinez, another guy who's just been pretty good, better at home. So we'll see what he can do on the road here, going up against TBD of the Tigers. Great arm there in Detroit. And then Taj Mahal of the Rays going up against Clay Holmes. Taj Bradley is okay. He's a weird pitcher to watch because he looks like he has some filthy stuff, but then you see him, he's giving up a few runs every start and all that, and he's only average K rate and things like that. But he can struggle with his command, a 9.5% walk rate, as you see there. And then home run rate is about average there. But Clay Holmes, 2.95 ERA. He's been really good. Solid starter. First year as a starter since being a reliever. But average K rate, I thought he'd miss some more bats, but he's just right around there with Taj Bradley as well. And then we got Ryan Yarbrough, who has been absolutely awesome this year until he got out, just annihilated by the Boston Red Sox. 9 hits, 8 earned runs, and 4 innings in his last start. So we'll see if he can bounce back, because guess who he's facing again? The Red Sox. Garrett Crochet, we know how good he is. 31.3% K rate. What's been impressive is his above average walk rate as well. But he got hit hard in his last start again, or also versus the Yankees. 6 hits and 5 earned runs allowed but he still had 9 Ks. This is why strikeouts are such a weird stat. But he's had 32 Ks in his last 19.2 innings now. And then we got German Marquez against Bryce Elder. Marquez is just not a good pitcher. I mean, he's given up 24 hits in his last 16 innings, 7 ERA for a reason. And Bryce Elder, in his 2 starts since his return from the IL, 4 earned runs allowed on 9 hits in 13.1 innings. Been okay, but he's nothing special either. Again, we got a lot of guys that are just kind of an average to below average K rate today. So that's all the averages on the bottom. That's page 1. Now let's check out the final 7 matchups. We got Hauser versus TBD of Texas. Hauser, just 4 starts this year, 6 Ks in 3 straight, though. So he's been pretty good. Again, 4 starts. I don't think of him as some great pitcher, but Luis Severino versus Michael Waka Waka. If you don't know, Severino has been absolutely elite on the road this year. He's been horrendous at home, and here he is on the road. Waka with a 3.01 ERA, really limiting runs, just not missing a lot of bats, kind of like Severino, both around that 16, 17, 18% K rate. And then Chris Paddock versus Gordon. Paddock, 2 or less earned runs in 10 of his last 11 starts. And Gordon has just not been great. He made 5 starts, but he's given up less than 3 earned runs for the first time in his last start at Cleveland. Every other start was 3 or more earned runs. And then Eric Fetty versus fastball Freddie Peralta. Eric Fetty. Did I say Fetty or Eddie? I don't even know. Anyways, Fetty, been hit and miss this year. Very low K rate also, 15%. It's ugly. But he's had some starts where he's just absolutely dominated and other starts where he's gotten blown up. But Freddie Peralta only gone 6+ innings in 5 of his 14 starts. If you don't know him, he's not a super efficient pitcher, but 2 of those 5 were in his last 2 starts. So we'll see if he's starting to be a little more efficient there. But Kolek versus Nelson. Kolek was awful to start his season, honestly. But after struggling mightily, 2 shutout starts in a row, 5.2 innings in both of those. And then Ryan Nelson, after 2 shutouts, he gave up 7 earned runs in 3 innings in his last start. If you can't tell by all these stats, we're talking about guys who shut out teams for a week, and then they all of a sudden give up 8 earned runs. I mean, you wonder why baseball is ridiculously hard to predict. We just don't know how the pitcher is going to come out that day. And then Gavin Williams versus Luis Castillo. Williams has been pretty solid this year. He had a rough start, but he's had some control issues. That's been his problem. 12.8% walk rate, one of the highest, if not the highest, on the slate today. And then Luis Castillo, if you want to tail him, it's going to be at home because he's just been much better, as most pitchers are in Seattle. And then we got the pitching matchup in the game of the day. Logan Webb versus Yamamoto. Webb, he's been giving up a lot of hits lately. You see a 2.5 ERA, but he's given up 29 hits in his last 24 innings, but also 27 Ks in his last 20 innings. Again, that's why Ks are so weird. You can give up a ton of hits, but also miss a lot of bats. Doesn't really make sense sometimes. But Yamamoto, been awesome outside of a couple of rough starts versus the Yankees and the D-backs, but we know he's a top 5, top 3 pitcher in this league, around a 30% K rate, 2.2 ERA. He's only 6 hits per 9 innings. I mean, it's been tough to get hits. So, but that's what we got for the entire pitcher report with all the averages on the bottom. And now it is finally time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Camden Yards, where the Orioles host the Anaheim Los Angeles Angels of Disneyland. Orioles moneyline -174, Angels moneyline +142, with a huge total of 10.5 runs. My best bet is the Angels team total over 4.5 runs, -110 on DraftKings. Is a half unit play for me here. I'm going to be honest, I do like my plays today. A couple of them would probably be 1 unit plays if I was actually running hot, but I'm not. So we're going to keep it safe here. But let's talk the weather first. Speaking of hot, it's supposed to be great hitting conditions, 84 degrees with slight wind blowing out. That's why we see a 10.5 line here. But let's talk my Angels offense. Not mine. They're not my favorite team, but they have been extremely good on the road. In the last month versus righties on the road, the 3rd highest WRC plus at 130. 100 is average. 4th highest slugging. 3rd highest ISO power. We're talking about a team that has a ton of power on the road. 6th highest walk rate. 24 home runs hit. That is 3 more than any other team in the league. They have scored 7+ runs in 5 of the last 10 road games. It's absolutely insane. And now they face Charlie Morton, who just had his 75th birthday, so congrats to him. But he pitched a little better in May, I will say that. But he just gave up 4 earned runs in 2.1 innings. He's still Charlie Morton. He has been all over the place with pitch counts. 76 and 100 pitches in the last 2 starts. Had 3 consecutive starts of 30, 46, and 62. So are we going to get maybe just 3-4 innings? Possibly, depending on how he's pitching. Maybe he tries to go 5 or 6, but he has struggled versus righties, giving up a 309 average and a 473 slugging. Well, the Angels are absolutely loaded with righties. Neto, Mike Trout, Taylor Ward, Jorge Soler, Ohapi, etc., etc. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him. So we got great weather and a top 5 road offense. We're facing Charlie Morton and a weaker Orioles bullpen, along with 9 guaranteed at-bats, which is always key here when you're the road team. I got to take this one. Give me the Angels team total over 4.5 as my first best bet. All right, this next one takes us out to Los Angeles, where the Dodgers host the San Francisco Gigantes. Dodgers moneyline minus 168, Giants moneyline plus 138, with a total of 7.5 runs. I'm going with another team total. Give me the Giants team total under 3.5. That's right, minus 136 on FanDuel for a half unit. Little juicy. I almost thought about going team total under 4.5 as like a two-leg alt team total parlay. You could do that as well. I'm gonna just take it straight at 3.5 though. Again, this might be a one-unit play if I was running a little hotter. It's a bit juicy. But first, is there a worse spot in the major leagues for an offense than the Giants on Friday and what they're going to be in? They're leaving altitude at Coors Field. The very next day, have to get on a plane and face Yamamoto. We know offenses have struggled after leaving Coors Field for that first game, let alone having to face Yamamoto. But the Giants offense already, we talked about it all season long. They suck on the road. That's right, on the road, taking away their 3 games in Coors Field, because that's not on the road. That's actually like on a different planet. San Fran is under this 3.5 line in 14 of their last 20 road games. Again, not including Coors Field. 4 of those 6 overs, by the way, that they did go over the 3.5, they were right at 4 runs. This team is not crushing it on the road. In the last month versus righties on the road, how about the 5th lowest WRC plus? And this is crazy, the 2nd lowest slugging and 2nd lowest ISO power. They have 0 power on the road. Now they're going to face Yamamoto. His only 2 rough starts this year were against the Yankees and Diamondbacks. Totally different offenses, top 5 offenses in this league. Giving up 2 or less earned runs in 10 of his 11 other starts. If you don't know Yamamoto, yes, he misses bats. He's also an elite ground ball pitcher, 95th percentile, which is pretty important when you have nice weather for hitting and things. You don't want, hard balls getting hit into the outfield into this weather. But he's only allowing 6 hits per 9 innings, which is just crazy. It's tough to score on him when you're hitting ground balls, striking out, and you're just not getting many hits in general. Just saying. I expect him to limit them. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they got 0 or 1 runs, or 1 run as long as the bullpen doesn't blow up. But speaking of Dodgers bullpen, fully rested, day off yesterday, and I think we're only going to need him for 2, maybe 3 innings. I think Yamamoto goes 6 to 7 innings here. If things actually go to plan, I would not be shocked if the Giants got shut out, like I mentioned. And of course, everything goes to plan lately, right? But anyways, give me the Giants team total under 3.5 as my second best bet. All right, this final one takes us out to Kansas City, where the Royals host the A's of Oakland, Sacramento. Royals moneyline minus 159, A's moneyline plus 130 with a total of 8 runs. Now, I know we got burned on Thursday. Let's try it again. Under 4.5 in the first 5 innings is my best bet. Minus 118 on FanDuel for a half unit. I honestly really love this bet. We just got crushed on that first 5 under. I get it. It was a 5-run second inning. Not all games are created equal. Let's get our revenge on the first 5. But starting pitcher matchup, Luis Severino versus Michael Wacha. Severino, maybe the best starting pitcher in the league on the road. No joke. On the road this season, it's insane. I got some wild stats for this one. So here we go. In 31 innings, how about a .87 ERA? He has allowed 3 earned runs in 31 innings. Not just that, a 189 average against and a minuscule 207 slugging on the road against. Wild stat here, Severino has only given up 2 extra base hits on the road. That's out of the 124 batters faced. He has given up 2 extra base hits. Mind-boggling. He is elite away from that minor league stadium. But in Sevy's 5 road starts, the total has gone under this 4.5 line in 4 of those 5 starts. We got some more stats. Let's talk Michael Wacha, elite at home. So we got an elite, one of the best starting pitchers on the road versus one of the best home pitchers. A great matchup here. But at home, Wacha 1.8 ERA at home, just 8 earned runs allowed in 40 innings, a 1.03 whip at home, much higher K rate. And then here's wild stat number 2 or 3 or whatever we're on. In Wacha's 7 home starts, the total has gone under 4.5 in the first 5 in all 7 starts. It's just crazy to me. I said 7 starts. I don't know if I wrote that wrong. It might be all 5 starts. Either way, all of his home starts have gone under, never even gone over 3 runs, which is crazy to me. I expect him to slow down this A's offense. And speaking of offenses, A's worse away from home versus righties. Not surprised, getting away from the minor league stadium. Still a pretty good offense, obviously. Royals, bad anytime, any place. They've been a little bit better lately, I will say that. 16th WRC plus versus righties last 3 weeks. But both starting pitchers also, this is another thing I like about it. Both starting pitchers struggle a lot more versus lefties. Well, guess what? Both of these offenses are loaded with righty bats. So it's going to be a bad matchup for the offenses overall. And just speaking of overall, we have an elite road starting pitcher, elite home starting pitcher. Combining Wacha's home starts and Sevy's road starts, I think it's 10 total actually. It's gone under this 4.5 line in the first 5 in 9 of their 10 combined starts. Love the matchup with all these righties against these starting pitchers as well. I do not want to mess with the A's bullpen. That's why I'm sticking to the first 5 innings. They are absolutely horrendous, as you guys saw earlier. So give me the under 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings. That is my third and final best bet. I got to get up early, so I didn't have time to put out some hitters, but I will leave some in the pinned comments below for hitters I like. I might even have a hit parlay tomorrow because there's, like I said, there's a lot of good hitters that I do like. So that's what I got for the best bets and the research help before we get out of here. Let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. My 3 best bets on Friday the 13th. The Angels team total over 4.5 for a half unit. Giants team total under 3.5 for a half unit. And the under 4.5 runs, first 5 innings. A's and Royals minus 118 for a half unit. There will be added plays. It'll be in the pinned comments below on X and on Discord. We are so overdue for a great day, a nice little hot streak. Hopefully that starts here. So thank you guys for watching. As always, if you're looking for my bets on the weekend, they will be on the post tab of our YouTube page, on Discord, and on X, since we don't do weekend videos. But thanks again for the support. Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.